This video is especially for the ladies, the caregivers, the moms, the women out there, young or old, who are thinking about self care as something that is so far beyond your reach, whether that's time or money or even a sense of comfort, and whether you want to or can experience and have self care as part of your regular routine. I'm not talking about a special event. I'm not talking about once in a while. I'm talking about the day to day rituals and habits and everyday moments that you can have and experience more self care in your life. I'm sharing a picture of me from 2023 only because I grew up believing in fairy tales. I am one of those Disney loving adults. I have loved all things Disney ever since I was a little girl. The first time I visited Disneyland, I was 6 years old. That was in 1971. I live in Utah, so visiting my grandmother in California didn't happen very often. My family was very budget conscious. Honestly, they were very poor. And so the first time I was able to go to Disneyland and look up, standing there in my little patent leather shoes and white gloves, very much a 1970 ish outfit at the time. I looked up and saw that castle and I fell in love. Snow White has always been my favorite princess, and as a little girl with dark hair, of course, it was the only dark haired princess at the time. This cruise that I'm showing you a picture of, this was a dream come true for me in 2023 and a trip of a lifetime. I went to Alaska. I had a bonus. I was traveling alone. I have come to a point in my life now in 2026. I'm a 60-year-old woman. I'm aging solo, and I went through plenty of years where I was living on a tight budget. I became a single parent, divorced early in life. I've been an empty nester for a number of years, and going through all of the journeys and the struggles financially, emotionally, physically, psychologically, everything that that entails as a caregiver, as a wife, as a mom, all of the roles that we take on. Self care was nothing that I was ever taught. I was taught how to serve, I was taught how to take care of others. I didn't even receive anything even close to a manicure until I was over 30 years old. Times have changed, things have changed, though I still encounter women all the time, much younger than myself, that have never incorporated any self-care into their life. Are you one of them? And if so, this video is for you. I want to share some really budget friendly techniques that you can do at home, things that you can access in your community, and things outside the box that you may or may not have considered or looked into yet. When I even bring up the topic of self care or say the word pampering to another woman, I will inevitably hear things like, oh, yeah, I've gone to a spa, or no, I've never received a massage. It seems weird, or oh, I had a horrible massage. I'll never do that again. Maybe a nail salon, a ladies' day out, you've had a manicure or a pedicure at some time. And it it always takes me back to the fact that I'm hearing that these are just a once in a while, and perhaps that's all that your budget can afford. I argue and encourage that making self-care a habit becomes that ritual, that investing in yourself that doesn't require you to wait and to put yourself on the back burner. Too often women are told and more or less understand, especially as a mother, that those that you're caring for, they're certainly the priority, those who need you, those who are relying on you. And as caregivers, investing in ourselves, that is how we recharge our batteries. And making self-care a habit is easy when that starts at home. And here we go. Oatmeal. Grind it up. Now you could use a coffee grinder. At the time, we were just grinding it in an old mortar and pestle type of thing. Put some water in there, creates a paste, a perfect facial mask. Now, there's not many people that I know that do not have something as simple as oatmeal in their pantry. This is not only good for you internally because it's high in fiber, it's ideal for gut health, and as a face mask, simple, affordable, and if you have anyone in your life or maybe yourself that you have breakouts, blackheads, this is a great mask that's affordable and easy to use. Other ideas that you maybe haven't thought of, or perhaps you are, and if you are, share in the comments. Tell me about your the way you're stretching your budget and still getting in your self-care and treating yourself and taking care of yourself. The treat aspect, I honestly don't like that term or even that reference, because for me then that puts it as a once in a blue moon type of thing. Self-care on a regular basis is an investment in your overall health and well-being. It impacts your mental health, your psychological health, and filling our own cup first, you can be a much more effective and nurturing caregiver, mother, partner, whatever other role you are. And self-care is an investment in loving yourself. The affordable options that I take advantage of, there's always a discount salon, and number one for me is accessing a trade school. When you think of anybody who requires a license, whether it's someone is in the fields of medical, from dentistry to dental hygienists, any type of healthcare provider, and certainly estheticians, hairstylists, nail techs, they all require a trade license. And each of those schools, there are hours that are required in order for them to earn and work towards their certification. I have been a massage therapist since 1996. I went through a highly accredited program here in Utah, and it required a high amount of hours in a student clinic. And accessing services from a trade school, are you squeamish about that? Does that sound like oh, great, that sounds wonderful, or does that cause any hesitation for you? There are a number of people that I have encountered over the years, and I understand, because the first massage that I ever received, I was very uncomfortable, and I knew the person. They were a good friend of mine, though that level of contact, and I'm a very private person. I didn't understand the process, the procedure, all of that type of thing. So my first experience with receiving a therapeutic massage was negative. I didn't give up. I was educated. And if you are uncomfortable with the thought of having a stranger share space with you, undressing to a level, and being under a sheet, having that time, there are conversations that you can have, because in a trade school, that's part of the process, is to educate the practitioner about boundaries, about ethics, and about a level of professionalism. That is something that I encourage people to look at and consider before they ever receive or are looking at going to any practitioner, whether it's in a high-end spa or on a cruise ship, or something as simple as just a local salon or trade school. So maybe you'd rather experience something unique when you're thinking about having some self-care. And here I'm talking about things like a silent disco. I didn't experience one of these until I was on that Disney cruise, and I had no idea what was going on. It was way outside of my box of experiences. And even things like a sound bath, I adore a sound bath. This is when you go into a space and someone has one of those singing bowls, and the acoustics in or outside resonate, and there's a vibration that is soothing and relaxing. You could meditate up in the corner with a woman in the forest. You can experience things like forest bathing. That's a whole other level of meditation with plants. Tai Chi in a park. If these are not accessible to you or for you, have you looked recently at your community rec centers or even a senior center? Look at their event calendar. Do you have a community garden nearby? In Salt Lake City, where I live, we have a beautiful community garden called Red Butte Garden. If you are near or around the Wasatch Front in Utah, highly recommend. It's one of the most beautiful gardens that I've experienced in the Western United States. I have an annual membership, and that membership gives me access to other gardens when I travel. And I always look at the calendar. I receive the newsletter in the email, and I get updates about all of these type of things. Check out with your local library. There are a number of yoga, music and movement classes, all sorts of things that you can experience in your community for a low cost or even for free. Okay, so maybe you're saying that you're on a really tight budget, talking pennies, quarters, dimes. Really want to dial it in. The budget-friendly self-care, and this is my go-to. I understand I have been aging solo for a long time. I've been a empty nester for an even longer time, and maintaining my quality of life so I can afford things like once in a while having a splashy vacation like a Disney cruise. That was a once in a lifetime. Will I get to do it again? I don't know. Maybe. Do you have someone at home, a friend or a loved one, and can just trade a soothing hand massage? There's one way that you can experience some self-care and have share space with another person that you care about and value and love. The homemade, the DIY, the oatmeal that I showed earlier, look at that potter's wheel right there. Those hands, that clay right there, there is you taking care of you. You know yourself better than anyone. You are the the master of your life. And the clay, as you are caring for yourself, can, give yourself your own foot massage. Maybe you can't reach your feet. Maybe you're just soaking your feet in a foot bath and using some Epsom salts. Throw some round stones in there, some marbles, and you can manipulate those with your toes. That way you're articulating your feet, you're improving your balance, and you're soothing them in warm or hotter water with some Epsom salts and getting that great mineral benefit. Another thing that you could try is rice water. I recently started using rice water. I took a trip to Japan last year and then have been watching a channel called Amy's Beacon Yoga. Her facial massage techniques are wonderful, and she talked about the health benefits not only for your skin but also your hair of using rice water. I will add the link to that video at the end of this one. It's really it's been great for me, especially since, as I mentioned, I live in Utah. This is a desert climate. It's high altitude. In Salt Lake, where I live, there's a lot of pollution. And so I am constantly looking for ways to better hydrate and moisturize my skin, and the rice water has been a great addition to my toning. Other inexpensive skincare goodies. I have worked in the field of health since 1996, and not to sound patronizing, scolding, anything like that, water, water, water. I cannot emphasize that enough. As adults, we know that our bodies are made up of water. That is the the greatest component of our vessels. That's what we are, the foundation. We need water internally and externally. If you have access to mineral hot springs in your area, experience them. Soak in that water. If you want to do that at home, Epsom salts, they're inexpensive and a wonderful soak, whether you can only access it as a foot bath or the tub and soak your body. Our skin is our largest organ of elimination. Any of the skin eruptions that you're seeing, look also at what you're eating or drinking. Cleaning your body out with plenty of water will help. I talked about how to help with blackheads or breakouts earlier with the oatmeal mask. The under eye puffiness, tea bags. I brew tea every morning for a kombucha apple cider vinegar tea tonic. I've shown that in other videos. I simply just save those tea bags when I've, squoze out all the liquid. And as I'm working out and lying back in an L stretch, elevating my feet, then I put those tea bags under my eyes, and that's great for puffiness. Cucumber slices, those are really common. A cold pack or maybe even a warm pack. Whatever feels comfortable for you, take a few moments, use whatever works for you. Rough skin. Now, exfoliation. There's all sorts of tools and gadgets and things out there, all sorts of products. One of the most inexpensive during your face washing routine, morning, night, get some finely grained sugar. And once that you've lathered up your face, simply add about a teaspoon of that sugar to your soapy hands and then rub it into your face. And you know what pressure feels comfortable. This isn't about taking down epidermal layers and harming yourself. It's about gently exfoliating your skin. Rinse it off, and then you tone, moisturize. The toner that I like to use besides rice water, witch hazel. Get a small spray bottle, one of those inexpensive ones that you can get at the dollar store. Put some witch hazel in there. That's a great inexpensive toner. As I mentioned, I've worked in healthcare and alternative health since 1996, and a lot of the high-end, even spas and facilities that I've worked for, even when I worked in a clinical setting, there were oftentimes we used very simple, basic ingredients that adding more isn't always beneficial. Keep it simple. Dry skin, near and dear to my heart topic as a desert dweller and someone who is a mature woman. I turned 60 years old last year, and I have been using oil on my skin for decades. I like coconut oil. I used sesame oil. I also like to use almond oil on my face, jojoba oil, and now more than ever, you can find a lot of these single oils at places like the dollar store, or subscribe and get discount products on Amazon. Here are some more ideas. I hope these were useful. I want to show you just a little slide of the trade school that I go to give you some more ideas on that. All right, so take a look at this. This trade school is called SkinWorks. It's in Salt Lake City. And look in your community. If you're already going, tell me in the comments some of your favorite trade schools that you've gone to. When I travel, I was in Vegas last year, and there's a trade school there. It's actually for more than one trade, but it's called Northwestern College, and they have a beautiful massage clinic there and actually train a lot of their practitioners to work more in a clinical or even a sports setting, which I appreciated since I've worked in that field for a long time. I tend to be pretty picky about the practitioners that I like to work with, and they take it very seriously. Even with SkinWorks, there's a full medical history that they go through, and it's very professional. So it's similar to what you would experience at a high-end salon at an affordable price. From their website, then you can look at the student spa, go down, look at the menu. I've experienced any number of techniques that they have. One of my favorites is called a luxury facial, and it's an almost 90-minute treatment. I usually add on, it's called a cooling eye technique, since I tend to, I'm really prone to extra inflammation and puffiness in my face. So having ice is my friend often. I just bumped the mic. And that type of a technique is really good for any of the puffiness that I receive in my eye. The luxury facial at this trade school is $50 and the cooling eye treatment is $5. That's a bargain if you're looking at spa services. Another way that I even lower the cost of this is that twice a year, this trade school puts gift cards half off. And so, right before Mother's Day and right before Christmas, all of the gift cards have for years have been 50% off. I budget for that. And so as I know that that day is coming up, like I did last November, I set aside an extra $100 to buy a $200 gift card and banked that in my account. This is also a great thing too for loved ones. And if anyone says, "Oh, your birthday's coming up, what would you like?" I would like a gift card for Skinworks. They also have monthly specials. I subscribe to their email newsletter, and every month they highlight a different technique, a different product. So, whether it's a back facial or a pedicure, there's all sorts of techniques that I can experience, and I'm also helping the student as they are getting their trade hours done. It's a win-win on both sides. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't know me and you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. My name's Tiffany Anderson. I'm the founder of Anderson Therapeutics. My Aging Well channel is all about self-care, investing in our health and well-being, and knowing that it's never too late to improve your health, and self-care is crucial, especially as time goes by and as you are caring for others. Invest in yourself. Give this a like if it was helpful. Consider subscribing. Have a good day.